What's going on? You are listening to, and today watching as well, because we're recording video-wise, Talk About Gay Sex. I am your host, Steve Rodriguez, here in New York City, joined by my co-host, Jeremy Ross Lopez. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good to see you.
You too, as always.
Doesn't it feel like spring?
It does.
Has sprung.
Definitely.
Yes, that means less clothing.
Yes.
The boys
are out.
Do you ever, when you walk down the street, look at guys' crotches? And I say this because I became paranoid because I went to my barber shop the other day and I was wearing a pair of jeans, and a friend, he's not my barber, but he works at this place. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I have to tell you something. And I said, what? He's like, are you...
Commando?
No, he said, are you... basically, is your dick on the right side? And I was like, how did you know? He's like, I could see the outline. It's on the right. I was
Lord.
like, oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, and the only weird thing about that was on the way to the barbershop that day, I did feel this, like, people, like, from mothers to children to...
You were noticing where their attention was going?
Yeah, and I thought I was in my head. And it wasn't like I was, like, packing it, like, but... It was interesting that he saw that. So, do you ever look at, come spring, summertime? Like...
I mean, I kind of do, but I'm still always focused on the backside.
Oh, right. I forgot who I'm talking to.
And in the spring, and when they start to come out with the short shorts and all that fun stuff.
Booties. Mm-hmm. Yeah, booty shorts and all that stuff. Okay, got it, yeah. Well, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, we were going to have a couple of dancers here today. We do have a special guest, though, so no worries on that. And I love our special guests. But we're going to have a couple others. And can you believe no show? That's like sorry to say it, Jeremy, but it's a millennial thing. Like, to just sort of blow off stuff.
Make plans, right? And then just not follow through.
I can't. I like it. It blows my mind, and all I have to say is, and you know who you guys are. But the other hot topic that I wanted to talk to you about was, LA Gay Pride. I lived in LA for years, and the LA Gay Pride is, monumental.
A big deal, yeah.
Just like here in New York, and they last year, I thought, wow, LA really stepped up because their parade fell on. The day after Orlando. Mm-hmm. So when
all of that terrible
tragedy
stuff happened,
on Saturday night, the very next day was LA Gay Pride, and LA really stood up and
strong and still followed through with.
They did, and they had
celebrating.
They had their own threat. I think there was a threat to the parade.
I know they had helicopters and security.
Yeah, so
and
it wasn't. They even had their own looming, potential tragedy, and they really stood up. And I thought that was great. Well, this year they are not doing a gay pride parade. They're doing a march, and it's coinciding with the Washington March. I think it's the gay march that's going to happen in DC, that part is cool. Mm-hmm. But they are basically taking away the actual parade, which I call a celebration, and making it a march with no floats. And so my question is, why do you got to punish us? Like, we get it. We're in a Trump era, but he's already in office, and to me, there's other ways to why can't you do both? Why can't you have the march and have the parade? Why do we have to then
sacrifice?
Suffer?
Yeah.
And partly, I've read a couple things. I know that West Hollywood, which is where the parade culminates and ends, they have an adjacent park in West Hollywood, and that's where in the last few years they put up a main stage with musical acts, and then they're now up to 3 stages, and they'll get pretty decent acts, and
now they're just getting rid of all of that.
The things that's happening this year is there's construction going on in that park, so they are only going to get a fraction of that park. So partly I'm wondering, is the organizer, because he's no longer, this particular year is not going to have full access of that park, so it's not going to be the same pride that he's tried to create. So now let's line ourselves with the march and make it political, so that people won't think about that. Which is, if that's the case, I think the messaging, at least for me, is why do we have to suffer and not get our celebratory parade?
And I agree. I mean, I think when it comes that time of year for any place, it is very exciting and it is something to be proud of, and it's a day to celebrate just life for us and many people. And I think it is liberating, and I'm kind of on the fence because I do like that they want to prove a point, and I do like that it would be a gay march, but I don't really love the idea of it replacing something like Pride, which is such a monumental day.
I agree
and
with you.
especially on the West Coast, I've never been a part of it, but I've seen so much footage of it, and like how elaborate it is and how much
Yeah.
fun they
It's
have,
a lot
and the
like New
floats
York.
really do make it cool, and everybody's so excited and happy that day, and it is
Right.
liberating. And so I don't love the idea of replacing it with a march, just because
Why
a
can't you
march,
do
in my
both?
opinion, does seem a little negative and not as celebratory as Pride should be, and usually is for any city or town, or
I think
just
I'm not mad at that they want to do a march. I would say that when the Women's March and all those march, I'm not sure, if you're trying to affect Trump, are you, is he going to get this messaging? But I think it's good because so many of our rights are being taken away, and they really are. And subtly, you're not seeing him sign away on some of this, but he is taking away a lot of our freedoms. And so I'm not mad that there's a march. I think it's great. I like a political, but why not just layer in the march like on another day, get the city
which
permits?
totally works. I mean,
Yeah, and
I don't like it to
And-
replace it as like a scapegoat of
Yeah, and
since
that's
we
why
don't
I think
have the
it's a-
space or whatever.
I'm
maybe
thinking it's
they're
a
just
political
doing it
thing.
as
Yeah,
easy.
that's what I
like
think.
An easy getaway.
If anyone
which-
knows anything, let me know. But today, let's get to our discussion today.
Yes.
Hot gay sex. Today we are talking about go-go gods, as we're calling it. They, go-go boys, I think, are popping up more and more, particularly here. I know they've been in other cities but for a while it seemed like a dry spell in New York with go-go dancers, and now I feel like everyone's incorporating them and layering them
as
in.
entertainment, and
Yeah,
it adds to the whole vibe
they
and
stimulate
scenery.
in so many ways.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring on our very special guest. He is a go-go god, a good friend of ours. We call him Dancer Eric. Eric, come on in here. How you doing?
Good guys. Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Get up to that mic.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am good.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So, we've known you, both Jeremy and I have seen you dance at the Cock Bar, and you dance at the Eagle. But when did you really get into go-go dancing?
Probably like 15 years ago.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're
Yeah.
similar in age, and I've talked
Yeah.
about it on this show.
I'm old.
No. Well, I'm not calling myself old, and I just said we're in similar age. But
Oh, you look great though.
well, so do you.
Thank
and
you.
And you're still doing it. And I have talked about I've go-go danced, back in the day in the 90s in San Francisco, and
Wow, yeah.
yeah. So, but I'm curious to know, when you first started go-go dancing, what were some of the bars that here in New York that you, or Jersey, or
I started in a bar called Magic Touch in Queens
okay,
back in like 1997, 98. It's funny how I got into this. A friend of mine, some Dominican kid I used to work out with, and he was like, "Oh, you want to come to my job?" Because he worked in a supermarket,
Right.
and I'm like, "Why should I go to your job? What, to hang out? What?"
Yeah.
Oh no, I work in a bar, stripper. So I'm thinking, oh, okay. But
Did he say it was it a
never
gay
said,
bar?
No, he never said anything about gay or anything. So I'm thinking it's regular, maybe some girls, maybe he
Yeah.
strips for,
Because you're straight, by the way.
Yeah, I'm
Or-
straight, so-
for yeah.
so
But
I'm
we'll talk
thinking-
more about that. But yeah,
Yeah, so I'm thinking, oh wow. And I did mention to him like a while ago, I don't mind stripping one day to make money.
yeah.
And we took the train together in Queens, and we got off the train. We walked into the bar. It was a nice bar, by the way. But when I walked in there, I noticed it was like 15 guys, but regular, normal-looking guys.
As opposed to.
Yeah. But then I started seeing, like, within 30, 45 minutes, I started seeing, like, hand-holding.
Okay, yeah.
And
You got it. It was a gay bar. Then.
yeah, I never like experienced. And I told my friend his name was Hernando. I was like, yo, Hernando, this is a gay place. He was like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
And that's where the money, I'm assuming, takes place.
Yeah, well, that was my first experience because I've never been in any type of gay environment before.
And so was this like a bar that you would get on a podium, a stage, and like they were tipping you, or was it more of, I mean, because I want to get into it, there's so many different styles of go-go dancing.
Oh, well, back then it was a regular bar, and you had to get on top of the bar, I believe.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And that's how you dance. Or you could mingle. You could walk around the floor, mingle with the customers. But since it was my first time,
Right.
I was didn't know what to do because I was there just to hang out. I'm thinking it's gonna be girls. I had no idea it was guys. So
Yeah.
I met the promoter because he introduced me. His name was Tommy G.
Tommy G.
Yeah, Tommy. That's when the first I met him, and he was like, "Oh, you want to dance?" And I was like, "Well, I don't have any attire." He was like, "No, just strip out of your boxers." And I was so
Make it
nervous.
work.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do, and I was like, "We'll give you a couple of drinks if you want."
Loosen you up.
I was drinking.
Yeah.
I must have had 10, 15 drinks by the time I got to that bar.
Right.
And
To get your nerve up.
oh yeah, after that I got pretty confident, and they didn't bother me. And it was pretty cool.
Did they tip well there?
Oh yeah, the first night it was pretty cool.
Nice, nice.
I mean, I didn't make a whole lot of money, probably like $100, but it was like $100 I made in 15, 20 minutes just on the bar.
Yeah, because what a lot of people don't know is,
was-
we used to get a fee for dancing
Yes.
3 sets
Yes.
in this one club.
A booking.
Yeah, it was like, so we'd get, if it was a club, it was 3 30-minute sets spaced out,
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes it was 20 minutes. I preferred the 20 minutes because after 30, it's like, you're running out of moves and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But, and you'd get like, I think back then they paid us for those 3 sets like $75.
Wow.
So it was like $25, which isn't much, but you relied on the tips.
From the customers,
Yeah. So the fact that you even got a check or a
Well, it was definitely
a
way more than
fee-
Magic Touch. You know
Oh,
how much
really?
they paid?
No, what?
$25.
Total?
Yeah, just for the booking was $25.
How many
Damn.
sets did you have to dance?
It was you were your own boss. You did whatever you wanted. So
Oh, okay.
I would do maybe 30 minutes, rest for 20 minutes, come back up 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
So
but I
you
spent most of my
create
time
your own
just
schedule.
Ours was much more organized.
I spent most of my time just mingling with the crowd. So I would like not even dance on top of the bar. I was just like
Walking
talk to
around.
a guy. And,
Okay. Ours was much more, and I became like a go-go captain or whatever you want to call it, where like I was on the computer creating the timeline of all the dancers
And the slots
and see
of-
like everyone, confirm that they were going to show up. And so, and on there it would say, Steve's from this time to this time. And it was like printed out and
Yeah.
put on,
Well, it was more
in the dressing
professional.
room.
It was more professional.
Maybe, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That's good if you talk close like that, by the way.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
More professional.
More professional.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it wasn't. But then, my career as a go-go dancer only lasted a couple of months. Then I didn't get back into the business until 2003.
The business.
Yeah.
Okay, really? What
Yeah.
So, what made you come back?
It was funny because I was like working as a youth counselor for a couple of years,
Oh.
working with adolescents and stuff like that.
Nice.
And I was looking for something to make extra
Cash.
meat.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I used to be a dancer back then, but I only did it for 3 months. Maybe I could, but I didn't know, who to talk to.
Right.
So a friend of mine gave me a number to a designer that he knew, and I called him. But this was at the time, this was only for like straight.
Okay.
So I didn't know whether to dance for gay crowd or straight crowd. I just wanted to dance. I didn't care.
Right.
But the guy was like, well, he was a designer. That's why I said, make me a nice costume.
Yeah, you were telling us offline about. Yeah, you used the word flamboyant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he made me a nice costume. But then he gave me a number to a promoter, and but he was only for straight. But then it's funny because when I went to the designer's house, it's cool. There was a guy there. He was also a dancer. We got into talking, and he was like, "I work at Stella's on 46th Street,
Dallas.
which is a gay bar." But he told me
Here
immediately
in New York City?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was in Times Square back in 2003.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
How old were you,
I don't know if
Jeremy?
never heard of the
yeah.
bar?
Young. I
You guys
haven't.
never heard of that bar, right?
No,
2000.
no.
It was pretty popular
I was
back.
13.
13.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
my goodness. Okay.
See, I feel so old. 13.
Well, I was your age, so don't worry. Don't worry. Yeah.
Wow. But he was like, you want to come down? You know, I could introduce you. Same thing with Hernando. My friend Hernando did.
Like word of mouth.
Right, word of mouth. I could hook you up. You come to my apartment. We go together.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to his apartment, and then we left from there, and it was Stella's, and it's funny because I was looking just to dance, and he was like, "I dance for girls too, but this is more better." He said this will be more better for you because for women it's too much, too much of a style and
More like Chippendale
they
or
don't
something like
tip
that, right?
much anyway. And-
That's what I was going to say,
yeah. So he was like, "You probably feel more," but he wanted to make sure I was like comfortable. And I told him my experience. I said, "No, I danced in Magic Touch for 3 months, so I don't care
Magic
about
Touch. I
dance."
feel like he could have been like a contender on Magic Mike, the movie, you know?
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
I told him I don't care about the gay crowd. I just want to make a little money.
Right.
So I did that, and they don't pay you, by the way, in Stella's. Actually, during
Cheap
the
ass.
week, but then they pay you again $25. They only pay you $25.
Right.
But the tips were pretty awesome. I mean, you would if you were good, you were definitely walking out of there with a couple of $100.
Oh.
So the tips were pretty good. You know.
I mean, so nowadays, we see you at the Cock here
Yeah.
and other bars, and it's like less dancing and more just kind of like erotic and provocative.
it's more of a hustle now.
Groping and
And on some nights, you're even naked, right? Like
Yeah.
you walk around naked. And,
Yeah, at the Cock Bar, yeah.
Yeah, and so
Which is pretty cool because I used to do nudity when I worked in a club in DC.
okay.
They
all
do
right.
they do naked there.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes,
I
what's
went-
it called?
I went to a place back in 2005. It was called Secrets.
Secrets, right?
I
Yeah.
believe it's still there.
They've gotten a little rigid about like you can only touch them like below the knee and something like that.
it's
and,
a gay bar?
Yeah,
Well,
it's true.
it was a Secrets. It's still there. It's a dancer bar,
Mm-hmm.
and they were always known because they would get naked and all this. Well, I guess the laws, the regulations, the rules have been enforced. So now when they still get naked, but it's like you can only touch them like below the knee and
Yeah,
in
well-
part and like maybe above like I don't know. It's just like
Yeah.
why bother? Like
So not the fun part?
Well,
yeah, right, yeah.
Well,
Basically.
over there, it's more like they could get naked while they're on the stage, but when they hit the floor, they have to get dressed. They have to wear like underwear,
Wear something,
right?
yeah.
When they mingle with the crowd, because you can't be naked mingling with the
And
crowd.
it makes them too
yeah,
accessible.
but
It's
the tipping part too, like even when
It
you're
wasn't really that great when I worked at a bar right next to Secrets. It's no longer there because they built a baseball field in that area.
okay, yeah, right.
It was called Club Heat. Club
Okay.
Heat. And there, you could walk around, mingle with the crowd naked or as you were dressed, whatever. You could do whatever
See,
you
what
want.
I like I love going to Montreal because they have a couple bars campus, and there's I
They
forget the
go
one.
naked there too in Montreal.
Well, what they do is you go in. Typically, there's not a cover. They've got like even cocktail tables, an actual stage, and then like a bar area, and it's casual. You sit down, and they have like a guy on a mic. And it's a little cheesy at times, but a dancer will come out to some song, and I can't stand it when they do like Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On" or something like.
Oh
I'm like,
my
I know
God,
it's
that's
cheesy.
not sexy.
So but sometimes they
God.
do
What, they come out as a firefighter and
Well,
then
they actually come out in their own. They leave it up to them. They come out in their street clothes and they do one dance where it's them in their street clothes and
That's
to
hot.
whatever, and that's hot.
Okay.
And then they go back, and then maybe somebody else comes on, and then they come back maybe like 2 or 3 songs later, and that's when they've fluffed up and.
And then they're
they
ready
strip
for, like,
to
sexy
nudity.
time.
So
Yeah,
like a
and they get naked.
Mo review type. So like a Mo review.
So you get 2, and I forget how many times they'll do that throughout the night. But when they're not working, they're walking around the crowd, the bar, and that's their eliciting.
Working the crowd.
Well, they are because they're eliciting. Would you want to do a lap
Maybe
dance?
I should
So
go
if
there.
you want to do a
Yeah.
lap dance, you know, and they work you. You go back to this back room, and they've got. They used to make it private, where you get your own, you know, the curtain, and you'd sit on the little bench, and then they dance above you, and they're naked. Well, for some, you know, everything's getting cracked down, but so now it's all open.
Anything
But
goes in the back room.
yeah, but now and they do, you know, lap dances, and it's well, it's Canadian money,
$20.
but it's about $20 per song, and so you can stay there as long as you want, as long as you got the cash.
Oh.
But so it's hot. I love that whole style,
Yeah,
and they
that's
do
fun.
it in like
That's cool.
Fort Lauderdale, and I mean, you do lap dances, sort of.
Yeah.
You'll makeshift them at the Cock, even though there's no private room.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't I call it your? Can we go to your
My
office?
my little office, yeah.
Your office, yeah.
They have like a little tunnel, and it's pretty cool. So
It's
that's
not an
nice.
office. It's just this
Yeah.
carved out area, but I called it his office.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
But nowadays, the go-go dancing has changed. Everything is now lap dances. Everywhere you
is.
go is lap dancing, and not to mention you have to pay the bar to work there. Everywhere nowadays.
does? You?
Well, like nowhere, for instance, you have to pay $25.
You do,
Right.
The dancer,
Right. We
Oh,
have to pay.
like you're renting it.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, we have to pay $25 because that's how. Well, it's funny because
So now you.
to use their
We
space
used to get
and work their
paid.
floor.
I know you're not a hairstylist or whatever. I mean, wow, you should be paying me.
Yeah.
they're
I'm your
kinda-
entertainer.
Right, exactly. That's the way it should
Motherfucker.
be.
I agree, but it sounds like that
They're
you're paying
running-
for like the chair that you would at like a salon where
They're
What?
running the business like the females because women strippers they have to pay a house fee of $150, but they make women make
but they make a ton.
right, exactly.
You're
all
talking
for
about
lap
like
dancing.
actual stripper bars,
Yeah.
Right,
that
exactly.
businessmen.
So
yeah,
they're
got it.
They're trying to run the business same thing like that, which is we have to pay $25 house fee, and in some places, I used to work at a club called Club 20. You ever heard of Club 20 on
2020?
19th Street?
Oh yeah,
It was a gentleman's club, but they had a gay night on Sundays.
Right.
They were charging $50, but it went up to $100 house fee. We had to pay $100 at one time.
wow. And if it's like a slow night,
Yeah, one time I
you're
went
out.
there, I didn't make anything. I mean, usually some of the guys would walk out of there with maybe $1,000, $2,000. I never made that, but some guys would.
You could, Eric.
Yeah, but they was like, because there's a hotel, couple of blocks, and you had to like hustle and do lap dances. But also at the end of the night, you could like hustle and get privates
At the
Take-
hotel?
Yeah.
For okay, more
Yeah, and
escorting.
that's how they
So a
made their
more
money.
Escorting?
an intimate
es-
session.
I guess sort of like escorting. I mean, I never did that only because I never had the opportunity because I was Latino and the dancers were.
So it was a racist.
Yeah, because it was all white boy,
Okay.
pretty boy and
Boy next
pretty
door
yes.
type of look.
And they used to get all the clientele. They used to get all the appointments at the hotels
Mm-hmm.
afterwards. So. Me and maybe a few other guys would probably make like a few $100, which was fine for us because it was only $50. But when they raised it to $100, I wasn't gonna pay that because if I'm not making at least $2,000, it's not worth it for me.
Yeah, and
So-
you would not want to be out money either. Like, what if it was a
Yeah,
slow
it's like-
night?
yeah,
and
exactly,
You're,
you're
still paying
losing
this-
money.
Yeah,
You're making them more rich.
exactly.
But that's how it is nowadays. Like they have Spunk on Thursdays, which you have to pay $35 to work.
Wow.
They have Nowhere, like I mentioned, 25. Fairy Tales is 7 nights a week, and you have to pay them $25.
Are you talking about the Adonis?
Yes,
Yeah.
Donna, they pay, and then on weekends they charge 35. During the week it's 20,
Have
and then
you
on the
been to
weekends it's
Fairy Tale?
35.
I have been to Fairy
HK?
Tales. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they charge all that money.
Interesting.
That's why
Please
the
tell me-
cock, the
I was
cock
gonna-
is
yeah.
like they don't charge anything. They pay you $50,
That's how it should be.
and then
Yeah,
you make your
I
tips, and then on top of that, you get a lucky customer. You take them to the office,
View office.
and you charge them $20 for lap dancing, and that's it.
I mean,
that-
I think that's how it should be
Yeah,
too.
that's how it should be.
You're
all
also
very-
like showing everybody the goodies, like it's all out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
and Eric has got some goodies. If
Yeah.
you're into the front end or the back end, you're right, Jeremy.
a double whammy.
Yeah, I'm the front end side and you're the back end.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and so tell us some of the tricks of the trade to, I mean, I'm sure you've seen stuff backstage. You have your
Absolutely,
ways to
yeah.
get fluffed up. I mean,
Yeah.
you've told me before you watch a video to get,
When I first started, I would watch porn like in my phone or just in I would get like one of those sex store. They sell like those Viagra pills.
oh, right, yeah.
I pop that, and within 3 strokes, I'm already like hard.
Right, right.
Oops, sorry. Within 3 strokes,
Yeah,
I'm
we
already,
got-
I'm already hard.
Yeah.
So, and then as I got more experience, I would just use my imagination. Just buy a
Oh,
couple
okay.
of cock
And
rings,
think
tie
about
up.
it, yeah.
Just think about it.
So
No
is
big
there
deal.
any like fluffers or like have you
There
ever
were
seen
definitely
dancers?
there were definitely a lot of offers for fluffers.
Okay, yeah. Have you
Definitely.
seen things
Oh
backstage?
yeah, especially the cock bar.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Guys getting fluffed up
Yeah.
all the time. But
I mean, I've had my stories of,
Some-
incidents.
Well,
to help
Steve,
them.
what do you think about this? And Jeremy, what do you think about guys getting? We all have our
Needs
priority,
and-
our
yeah.
needs, but at the same time, what do you think about? There were some dancers that they would do certain things, but maybe like $1, and it kind of kills everything.
Wait, be specific.
They would do like, let's say, you do a sexual act like a blowjob.
Who's
And-
you? Like somebody.
The dancer's getting blown.
Okay.
But then I would see, and I only see like a couple of dollars being in his G-string, and then he'll have his his dick out, and the customer's sucking it for, not sucking like a lot, but like maybe like a couple of seconds like this.
I think sucking is
And
like
only giving a-
minimum $20.
Right, and just giving a couple of dollars, and that kind of cheapens it.
Yeah.
And
But I think it's also how you set it up for yourself. So if you're demanding a certain amount, then you should
Yeah.
stick to that and be like, if you're gonna get to that level of intimacy with them, then
Or if
it's
you
gonna,
wanna
it's
go
gonna
there-
cost, and you
Thank
have
you.
to have the cash.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what
But
I'd
if
be
not,
like.
then like I mean, some of them are much easier.
Yeah,
and
but-
I've actually never really had an amazing
cheap
lap dance or
horse.
a really good one, but all my friends always end up having really good ones. But it's still like it is there. You see, some dancers have boundaries, and then others
Yeah.
are just like a free for all, and they don't even care that it's just like $3 or $4 or
Yeah,
whatever.
cheap horse.
Yeah,
One of my
but like-
cheap horse. One of my best friends, my original BFF, Larry Hashberger. He's going to be on the show soon. He owned a club in San Francisco that I was the head dancer, and that's when I used to hire the dancers and we'd create
so
entertainment.
they put you as the booker.
Yes, exactly. But then I was
Oh.
a dancer as well too.
Oh, okay.
But he, like in the minute the club started, and we made ourselves somewhat accessible. Like the stage was like
Lower.
only lower, and he was all about his dancers getting tipped. And so he would go around and saying, if you want to, he would get like tons of ones that he'd give out to the kind of warm up
Yeah.
his audience. But he says, if you want to like touch around the ass or the cock area, it's $20.
And
he
I
would,
think- yeah.
he would
Oh,
almost
nice.
educate.
That's what you're
as
supposed to do.
No, yeah. So as the night was on, he was like managing
Yeah.
the night, and he just was looking out for his dancers. It's like, if you want to go there, it's
Wow.
no problem. But
And I
it's,
like
it's
that
going to
because
I like
cost
that
you.
too.
you guys were his entity of like
Yes.
he was putting you on a pedestal,
the
and
bar.
if you want to engage, then that's what you guys are worth, and I like that.
Right. So to your
Like you guys
point,
work as a team. It's like with a
right. And
That
so
was
to your
cool.
point, when you see guys like
Yeah, when
dancers letting them suck them, and they're putting
I know for $1.
that just tells me that the dancers
Cheap
not
whores.
Or they're just really horny and they don't care,
or they don't
Yeah.
care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
and they're not about the money that night.
And that's
They
fine,
just-
too. I'm
Yeah.
not-
Oh yeah, and that's fine too. 'Cause a lot of them are just into for the pleasure because they like stuff like that. They see a hot guy, a customer, and they just free and stuff like that.
And we should
So-
say there's all kinds of dancers. I mean, there's dancers that just, perform and at big clubs here in the city,
Right.
and they're not getting tipped at all. But it's more.
They
of
just get like a booking.
it's-
That's it.
Yeah, it's a performance, you know,
Right.
Yeah.
and you'll see those kinds.
But they're dancing just straight hours.
Right.
or
Yeah, a
whatever.
lot of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but I think the ones that really turn us on, Jeremy, are the ones that, you know, do the lap
Work
dances.
it. Yeah.
Work it.
I mean,
yeah.
it's in all different
The
ways.
sluts.
Well, I didn't say that.
Well.
But yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, basically, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, it's about stimulating,
Right.
and I think that's why a lot of these, you know, bars and clubs and are doing a lot of these dancers
Yeah,
too.
I mean, and I've also always been the type that just enjoys strippers and go-go people, dancers in general. Just
The
from
industry.
yeah. But like from afar, I love to just watch.
Yeah.
So for me, that's enough. Like I enjoy
'Cause you're a voyeur.
the sexy underwear and
Yeah.
all of that. But like I just really like the aspect of watching and just being entertained by a go-go dancer or a stripper, and even watching them like at Nowhere Bar just work the crowd, and that to me, that aspect
That's
is
cool.
fun.
And plus, there's not even no more performances also anymore. Like if you walk in.
oh yeah, there's much less
There's
now.
no
They don't-
performance. Like years ago, it was you had a go-go dancer that were performing in costumes,
Yeah.
and they don't do that anymore. Now it's just when you walk in, you just see a bunch
But
of
that's
guys
because
walking around in
everything is.
underwear.
I feel like it's quick and easy too. So
yeah.
Yeah.
it's cut to the chase.
I mean, I don't mind that there's not a whole, you know, major show because
Production.
sometimes they can be a little cheesy and
Yeah,
and
that's true.
if you're going with your buddy and you're having a drink and then it's nice. Sometimes though I feel, and I've told you this, Eric,
Right.
some of the dancers are
A little pushy.
aggressive,
Yeah.
and
Especially those
and
Dominicans.
unlike you, yeah. Well, let's not name ethnic groups,
Let me
but
not like be like that, but
no, I
that's,
know.
they're very pushy.
I
some
love
of
the
very-
Dominicans.
Yeah, very pushy. I mean, they're cool, but they
Don't get us in trouble. You're right. No, but what I'm, but you are for the most part straight, or
Yeah.
or you are straight,
I'm,
whatever. But
comfortable with myself.
you are so. But you're also when I've done dances with you, when Jeremy's done dances with you, you're very generous with your body, your time.
Yeah.
You're also not like hounding customers in the bar.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
which a lot of them in those types that are straight. Unfortunately, I think they're just
It's just the hustle, but it's
Yeah, it's
also
hustle,
just
yeah.
like give me the money and then
And that's
I'm
it,
done.
yeah.
Yeah.
or you know, heaven forbid, the one chick that walks into the gay
Oh,
bar
God,
and
and then
all
they're
of these
all on top of
dancers
her.
are all on top, and it's like seriously,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And you and I have talked, Eric, about this. Like when you go to dance, you're there to work, but
Yeah.
you're not like
I'm
trying
all
to pick
business.
up. You're all business, and you're there. You get that you're at a gay bar, and if someone wants to dance.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
do a lap dance. You're going to give them your time, and you're not like
Yes.
looking at the one chick that walked in and let me jump on that. Type
No,
of
because
thing.
if I want to dance for girls, there's plenty of places I could dance for girls. I don't need to be. I wouldn't be here if that was what I
But
want.
what is it with those guys that you know, in your perspective, what is it with those guys that you know? When that one girl gets in, they're all like, "Ooh, let me, you know, get on that." And,
Well, it could be either way. It could be maybe they're not making any money, so they figure,
They're
let me,
bored,
let me
maybe.
have fun with this
Got it,
girl.
okay.
Or it could be that maybe the girl could be possibly giving them something, so they want to. Or
Yeah.
it could just be that these guys are not serious and they just the one girl they like. Let me get this real quick, or
Yeah.
try, or
yeah.
you know,
But-
which I've seen a lot. I've seen guys that are not really serious. They just, if there's no women, they all about the money. As soon as one female comes, they'll forget about the money and they'll spend their entire 2
Right,
hours with
yeah.
this girl.
right, right.
And I'm like, well,
that's
good
not
for
a
you.
transaction for them.
That's actually works for me because while he's doing
Yeah.
that, I'm
you're making the
I
money.
make more money because the one customers they get upset when they see that, and then I take their.
I honestly think from an outsider point of view, you do get a little turned off when
course,
when
yeah.
their attention is on a woman in an all
Especially
male
I get
in a
major
gay
turned
environment.
off.
Yeah,
and I'm
like an
wondering-
all male environment, and
Yeah,
you want
exactly.
them to want you. Or
No,
just,
and speaking, I'm just going to speak for the gays.
Yeah, because gay men,
kinda,
they get
it's just a
upset.
big turnoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a turnoff. And then the next time they see you, they're not gonna be like,
Right.
Well, you're straight though. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like that.
And it, like, the whole thing is really fantasy, and
Yeah, it's just fantasy.
And so if you're in there going for the fantasy, and you see the guy you would like to, you know, have a dance with, and he's like, swiveling his head to be with some
Macking
chick.
on a girl,
It
yeah.
took you out of the fantasy mode,
Totally.
and now you're like, he's never going to be into me.
No, it
And this
crushes that fantasy.
It really becomes he's just working,
Yeah.
and it's no
Yeah.
fun. I mean, but the other thing about like lap dances, when you are very generous when you go back to do
Oh,
a
yeah.
lap dance, which I think is cool. There's a couple bars in LA or. You know, I'm not going to pick on certain companies that have lap dancers, but there is a style of certain guys that have a proclivity to be more straight, and their
Oh.
style of lap dancing that is. I feel like
How is it?
I was telling my friend in LA, and I'm like, you know, that it's that they do the grinding thing,
Yeah.
and they hover over, like if you're sitting on the couch or the chair, they kind of hover over you,
Yes,
so their
that's
heads.
all the lap dances that
Yeah,
I've
so
had.
their
They
heads-
rub in your lap or just like
And
boring
oh.
things.
Yeah, and
like
their heads
just
over them, so you'll-
dancing over you, but it's like that's not
Almost
really
like-
hot, and it's
yeah.
like just
It's
on
not
top of you.
It's too. It's
and
like they have their whole weight
it's
on
like
you.
in your space, if you
squishing
know what
you.
I mean. Yeah, it's like in your bubble, but not the way that you want it to be. It's
Yeah.
like
It's
just
too
and
much.
and
too
because
much.
it's like the fact that you know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, it's like, are they like looking over your shoulder and like going like, oh, God,
yeah,
you know, rolling their
bored or
eyes and
whatever.
bored?
Yeah,
This is
waiting
just-
till the song ends.
This is just the
Who does that?
protocol.
The dancers?
I mean, I've had that
No, that's
before.
this is the style. That
Yeah.
I said you don't. The thing
I've
is,
had that from straight guys that are just like they're not really in
They're
it.
not- they're not into it.
They're not in it, and they don't really they don't seem like they're enjoying doing it. So it's like they do seem bored, and it's also a little bit awkward because
It
it's
is.
not. There's
'Cause
nothing
they're-
sensual about it. It's not really sexy or intimate.
No.
and you actually feel a little bit awkward and like
Exactly.
overtaken, or like it's a little bit
I don't
overbearing.
know.
they're kind of
things.
squashing you too, and it's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah,
And it's almost always they're standing and you're sitting and
I mean,
you're
that's-
sitting low, and I mean, I guess that's the setup of
That is, but-
a lap dance, but there is an intimacy level of like
So see that, and some of these bars that have like you go into one like
Wow.
curtained off room where everyone's sitting on a
Yeah.
couch. That's when it really happens.
Yeah, totally.
But in this Montreal bar, again, where you have your own stall or your own area,
which is nice
Which is
because
nice.
you can go to whatever. There's not really like a boundary. It's between you and that dancer, and that makes it a little bit more
Personal.
of that fantasy. Also, like you're experiencing what it was that you came out for.
Yeah.
And like a go-go dancer, whatever you idolize in your head or it turns you on, that does spark the sexual sense
and
of
some
that
of them,
intimacy.
some of the ones that have been gay or
I hear this
straight
all the time.
have actually pulled their dick out, and I've actually gone down on some of them.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
I think
nice.
that in this particular bar in Montreal, they're always looking over their shoulder because there must be some manager that
Oh, okay,
there's probably
yeah.
do's and don'ts. and-
babysitting.
Yeah, and then they also have this funny thing because you go into this stall. There's a little bench for you the customer to sit, and then they stand in front of you and dance. But underneath where you're sitting is a little step stool, so they can like raise themselves up, and so they do mix it up, and you get less of that that stupid dance that canned dance that we
Yeah.
were talking about.
Yeah.
which you do not do, Eric. and
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
It's funny that I hear this from the other customer. Yeah, this guy, I gave him this guy $40, and all he did was, I gave this guy $40, and all he did was hug me and like this, and so it's funny.
Yeah, but like-
Rub on your lap, but
Yeah.
like from a distance,
Right,
and it's just
right.
that
like,
sort of snake.
yeah.
Well, usually I get the whole hug, but like this, and then he just, and then
Yeah,
the
that's what they
customer
do.
can't breathe.
No,
Oh, like
exactly.
air fucking or humping or whatever.
It's exactly what you just
Yeah.
described.
Yeah, it's like they don't know how to do a lap dance properly. It's no.
Because they're typically really big guys, and so then they're like,
Well, I'm a big guy, but
Yeah, but you don't do that.
I don't even put on my
They're
weight.
just awkward about
I've
it.
experimented. Like
regardless.
Eric, you were the first guy that
Oh, yeah,
I've
yeah,
never
yeah.
been into. That funky body odor that you can get
Oh,
from
yeah, yeah.
a guy. And you don't smell funky, but you're dancing and stuff like that. And I've always been not into that.
Mm-hmm. Right,
but
right.
you were the first guy that got me into like sniffing your armpits.
Right.
And
'Cause
now,
some guys like that stuff.
I mean, because of you, I'm coming in and you let me go there, and it's like, so thank you to that.
Yeah, cool. Because I work at the Eagle, and they
helped me
they love-
awaken.
Yeah. You're no longer a virgin in all
I
of it.
am no longer. You're not into that.
in many ways, no,
Yeah,
I'm
because
not.
in
I
the
like
Eagle,
clean and
they love that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yes, they. Yes.
They love all that. So I love
Totally.
the Eagle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a fine line between all that.
Right, but like you guys said, if you're gonna do a lap dance, even if you're not into it, at least pretend. Like
Right.
they
Yeah.
don't even pretend.
What, I had a question though. Do all dancers get along when you're like backstage, or is
For
there?
the most part, I get along with pretty much like the guys. They've been doing this for years. Like
Okay.
they're it's high by.
Right,
Nothing
you're all
like-
there to do your thing.
Yeah.
There's never any major
We just
dramas or.
we have like these weird, stupid conversations like. What are you eating? What are you taking as far as fitness? You know, they want to talk about, what are you, steroids
Physique
you taking?
and all
yeah,
that stuff.
stupid,
Supplements.
stupid,
and-
dumb conversations. It doesn't really matter.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
You know,
how much
so-
are you making tonight?
Right.
or-
I don't even sometimes if it's slow, I'll get personal with somebody and I'll say, hey, what do you make it tonight? How much you make? Like, and I'll joke around, what you make, 500? Like, and they'll be like, no, all I made was like 300. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, you did not make no 300 because I only made $20, and it's like and it's like 5 people.
That's
in here.
normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Like
You're
5
always
people.
inflating
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, so dancers will lie about how much they make, or they'll lie about if they'll have like a certain celebrity come over, take them, ride them somewhere or fly them out
Define
somewhere.
celebrity.
Someone that's like
A
like
local one.
don't want to mention
An
any names,
A-lister
but like
or
someone like a celebrity.
I need names, Eric.
Someone like Calvin Klein, for instance.
Oh.
And I was with Calvin Klein, paid me $300 just to.
Allegedly, we're not like.
Yeah, allegedly, just.
We're not saying Calvin
Whack
Klein
off
did
his-
anything.
whack
But
off in underwear.
300.
Yeah, it
just
would
to-
be-
To be.
Yeah, just to whack off in his underwear, and I'd be like, "Oh, for real? That's I don't. In my mind, I don't believe that, but okay."
It is funny when you run into like celebrity types. Or
Yeah.
I once more recently ran into at the bar you dance at, Eric, a reality star.
Which one?
I'm
is
not
this?
going to name names, but
Okay.
it was a reality star on the Bravo network.
Oh, okay.
Not Andy Cohen, please. I'm not talking. But somebody.
Con bar?
Yeah.
Yes, and
Okay.
it was interesting to see him in action. And,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, it is.
I mean, there
To
are
each his
some,
own.
he has sexual needs.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything that scandalous.
but it's just funny how the other dancers they make these exaggerations. How they've been with so and so, and they.
But
pay,
that's a
Yeah.
given. I
That's
mean,
that's normal backstage.
that's also
Yeah.
ego too. It's
Yeah.
like
yeah. Oh, I got $2,000, and all I had to do was walk around in my underwear, and he just cherished my feet.
And I doubt that,
And of
but-
course, I'm like, okay.
yeah.
Right. What about like promoters though? Do you have any stories about like
Promoters,
like
in order,
seedy behaviors that
Yeah, like you have to sleep with them in order to get jobs.
really
Yeah. If you don't sleep with them or if you don't do any sexual performances for them, you will not get hired.
really
Yeah, a lot of performers. A lot of
But what are
promoters
the
are like that.
what are the promoters? What is their job?
like the promoters,
for-
like the ones that do Fire Island. If you want to do Fire Island
or
for the
just
summer,
I just
Some
think
promoters are
that
like-
maybe hire
So they book the dancers.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do a certain night.
but like if you want to be their main guy, you have to like do stuff.
Not all of them, though. We should say not all of them, but some of them you've encountered.
Yeah,
have-
I've been Connor.
if you want to continue to work.
Yeah,
there,
if you want to continue to work, because
Okay.
if you don't,
If you want them to pick you as a regular,
right,
then-
well, at least
Yes.
once a month,
Yeah.
And give you the business.
right.
And again, not all of them, but we're just saying you've
No,
encountered some of them.
I would say the majority.
Oh, okay.
The majority, but some promoters. I mean, if they like you, then because you have the perfect look, they're gonna hire you regardless.
Yeah. Mhm.
But then you got some guys that just want to be with you, and for you to get that job, you have to do certain things.
What about tricks of the trade, real quick? And I'm like,
Tricks
oh
of
my
the
gosh,
trade.
like you've got a huge dick, and it's amazing. But
Oh.
like, how do you? Were you going to say thank you?
Oh, thank you.
You went, oh. But go ahead. But you've told me before to keep it hard. Like, let's just say you're backstage, you did whatever, you watch porn, you imagined, and it's
Right.
hard now. To keep it hard, one of the ways, how would you keep it hard? Tying?
Oh, I use either those pills. if
Right,
I'm
but
not
do you
feeling
tie
it.
off,
Yeah, I tie
or-
it with the cock rings.
Because one time you told me like there was some sort of like tie-off thing that you do.
Yeah.
And you said I said, is that safe? Or, I mean, and you said, I've got about 20 minutes before I
Yeah,
got
you do like 15, 20 minutes, and then you take it off.
At a time?
Right. And
Is
then-
it
what do
like
you-
a shoelace or what? A string or what?
Oh, no, it's like one of those cock rings that you buy at the sex store.
Oh, it's a
Those
cock
sex store-
ring.
Yeah, it's a cock ring. I usually
Oh,
buy
okay.
a couple, and you put them on, and keeps you hard for about...
All of them?
I use 2 or 3.
Okay.
Okay.
And I put it
Damn.
on the base, and it keeps
I mean,
you
he's
hard.
got, you know,
Yeah.
you probably buy the smaller one. And so when you're hard, it's
Well,
on.
I don't buy the metal cock rings, those metal ones. I
Yeah.
buy like the rubber ones, and I just tie up.
The
or
one
I-
size fits all and then
Yes.
just double it.
And I keep those on for like 15, 20 minutes, and then, because after that, it starts hurting like
Yeah.
crazy. And then I let it breathe, and then I...
Let it breathe.
You
I
take
re-
care of it. It's your,
Yeah.
you know,
It's my money
it's your
maker.
tool.
You nurture your-
to be literal.
It's the money maker.
It's the money maker. Yeah.
And plus, guys want to see, they don't want to see guys with walking around with panties and soft. They want to see...
In general,
Yeah,
some
erections.
might. We might, but yeah, exactly. Any questions for you before we wrap this up?
No.
You know, you've taken it
I
in.
think we've covered it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric Vick, this
The
is
behind the scenes.
the behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and everything else. So, you're also, do you bodybuild sometimes too?
Yeah, I
Like-
bodybuild sometimes, just to stay in shape.
Got it.
You know, that helps.
Well, we'll put a little video of him up on the site at Talk About Gay Sex.
Yeah.
To dancing, and so you can
Dancing.
see him if you're not in New York. But when you're in New York, check out bars like the Cock. You're often at the Eagle. Any other
Eagle,
bars
yes.
that you dance at?
Probably nowhere on Monday nights.
Nowhere Bar
Somewhere.
on 14th Street. And
Yes.
that's how we can find
And I'll
you.
probably do Spunk once in a while.
When and where is that?
Well, Spunk is, they have Monster on Thursday night.
Okay,
Sounds
yeah.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Monster. Yeah, I love Monster. Yeah.
So that's about it.
All right, nice. Thank you, Eric, Dancer Eric,
Thank you for
joining
having me,
us.
guys.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad. And then you need to enjoy him in action. And
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. Jeremy, thank you
Otherwise,
so
you're
much.
missing out.
Of course.
You can follow Jeremy at J. Ross Lopez on Instagram.
Because I follow Jeremy, so you should too.
Eric follows Jeremy, and please follow us. And thank you for all your feedback lately. We are at Talk About Gay Sex for Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on our website, talkaboutgaysex.com. Thanks. Keep giving you our feedback and notes, and we will see you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
This episode of Talk About Gay Sex was video recorded and can also be seen on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type in Talk About Gay Sex. Follow us on our Instagram and Twitter at Talk About Gay Sex, and go to our website, talkaboutgaysex.com, and click on our affiliate sponsor, Fort Trough, the largest gay toy store around. That's Fort Trough at our website, Talk About Gay Sex, and soon there will be a video of our current special guest, Dancer Eric, dancing away for you. So go to Talk About Gay Sex, and we will see you next time.